Good evening and welcome to KB's Terrace Talks We Love Football Wednesday night show. Today is all about who's getting Europe, as well as we're having live updates from most of the games tonight from Bez. First one off, got Phil to the bottom of me. How you doing, Phil?
I'm all right, Birchie. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm great. And Bez, how you coping watching three screens?
Yeah, good. I think you'll probably see my head all over the place because I don't know where to look. But yeah, hopefully I'll catch everything with a bit of luck. I hope we see loads of goals.
Just give us an update. What games are you watching?
So I've got in front of me, on the main screen, I've got Stockport County versus Stevenage in the League One playoff semi-final second leg. The first leg was 1-0 Stockport. I have on another screen Hearts versus Falkirk, and I have on my iPad Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. And I'll also look out for the other Scottish games as well. I believe Celtic and Rangers are both playing as well.
Just a quick one, Bez. We've had a comment in from Bushy. Haaland is on the bench, apparently. Is that true?
Yeah, it looks like it. He's not. I'm looking at the screen now, and he's not playing. As Crystal Palace have just scored. Oh no, they've not. Off the line. Is it gone in? The claim it's gone in. I mean, something has happened. It looks like he's given offside, but basically a cross got put in. He looked like you're offside to him. Obviously, the assistant has to play on these days. And then he's had a shot. It looks like it's gone in, but the assistant's raised his flag for offside, so no goal.
Early action at the Etihad Stadium, then. Wow, fabulous. Thank you, Bez.
No worries.
So for all you, I'm just going to chirp in a second, Bertie. For all you FPL wizards out there that have triple captain Haaland, obviously he got some good scores on their last game on Saturday, but unfortunately, it looks like he's being benched. So you triple captain might not be so good for Haaland so far. Got some more comments tonight as well, Bertie.
Yeah, don't read them comments out.
Yes, so the first one was from Tom Brown. So Tom's watching tonight. He was going to try and get on tonight, but I think he's been called away with work. SPL has been better than the EPL this year, apparently. That's a bold statement, that is, Tom.
That gets people talking.
That will get people talking. We've also got John in, evening chaps, and he's also put, just wondering, Phil, shall I get the relegation party going now? Mate, listen, I made an error, but I tell you, Phil Foden still could be coming to Forest. Bob Dude, good evening, chaps. How are we doing? Brighton get Europe. Got my passport at the ready. PSG, Bayern, Barcelona, Champions League waits for me, lol. We will be talking about Brighton quite a bit tonight, Bob Dude. So be great to hear you in the comments on that. Stuff City Palace. I'm watching Stockport Stevenage, says Pete Scott. Thank you for watching that game and also interacting with our show tonight. And Ben Woodcock, good evening, lads. Good evening to you as well, Ben. They're the comments so far. Keep those comments coming in tonight, please, guys, so we can interact well with you. If you've got any questions in regards to what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the games tonight, give us a shout, and I'm sure we can answer your questions.
Well, before we get on with Europe, just like to say, Phil, both survived. Happy?
Yes, both survived. Yeah, just let's not have this next season, though. Let's be, mid-table boys.
Have a comfortable one next season, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Well, as I start off with top two, what are we saying? Arsenal or City? What are we saying?
I personally, I think City are going to do it. I think I said it about a month ago. I think I said I think Arsenal are going to bottle everything this season, and I think it's going to be a very teary goodbye to Mikel Arteta in the summer for Arsenal. And if they keep him, well, they're idiots. I think City are gonna win I'd like to say that Chelsea will win the last spot in the FA Cup, to get into the Champions League, so on and so forth. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Man City are going to win at least the double this season.
Yeah, I've always said Man City, but I'm actually starting to think I think Arsenal's going to pull away with it. I got a feeling now they're just gonna. I can't see them bottling it now. I mean, I thought they were going to when City went above them, but it seems like City's gotten a bit nervy. So we'll see, but I think it's Arsenal.
Yeah. A few more comments have come in. That's the table at the minute, guys. So if anybody's wondering where the table is and what's going off in the Premier League at the minute, that's how the table currently stands. I'm going to go through a few more comments while that table is up and you can digest it a little bit. John Sullivan also, West Ham crying for us to let them win. They can get to piss. Okay. West Ham wanting that. Also, Birch, keep manager at the new season or new face?
Well, where he's played this afternoon, I prefer a new face, but if they keep him, I've got no problems with keeping him. But this time, if it's not working out by end of August, then we change it early. Don't threaten him in December to have a panic again for the last half of the season. So we'll see what happens in summer.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Bushy's saying the camera setup isn't right, lads. That's how I have it for the FPL, Bushy. So it'd be interesting to know what camera setup I need to put on, mate. Arsenal will go on to win the league, says Tom Brown. So Tom Brown is backing Arsenal all the way. John Sullivan has just said Hibs 1-0 up, apparently. Let's just over to Bez. Bez, is that true, mate?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, obviously, I'm only going to come back to it when one of the games I'm watching has got a goal. I'm not going to do every single game, otherwise you're coming back to it every 5 minutes. So what I'll do is when a goal goes in here, I'll let you know, and then I'll update the other scores. But yeah, Johnny's right. It is Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Okay, I'm just looking at those at that action. They scored. Yes, they did score. It was Martin Boyle scored the goal for them. Waited for a volley home from about 10 yards out, and then apparently there was a disallowed goal just before that or just after that. Calvin Miller drilled it in fine angle, and then it got cleared off the line, I believe, a few inches in front of the Hearts defender, Harry Milne. So, yeah, sounds like a lot of action going off at Rangers versus Hibernian, but Hibernian are currently 1-0 up against Rangers. Bob Dude, that's a very nice graphic. Who made that one? I would love to say that I actually made that, but I did it on one of my platforms that I use, and that's the way it came up. I thought it was quite fancy as well, Bob Dude. Yeah, very nice. And John, sorry, was I not meant to say lol? My apologies. No, John, absolutely. If you are watching the other two Scottish games that Bez is not watching, please feel free to shout out, and then we'll do an update on that. We're trying to watch as many games as possible, but it's getting quite difficult, and Bez's head is probably going to fall off by the end of the night with all this moving around as well. Back to you, Bertie. That's the end of the comments for so far, mate.
Well, seeing as though he's in the comments is listening, we're going to have to talk about Man United.
Oh, do we have to?
We got to talk about him. I know he's listening. He said third. I mean, now they guaranteed third, minimum third.
Guaranteed minimum of third, yeah. I mean, Liverpool and Villa could close the gap on them. Obviously, 2 games left, so a maximum of 6 points. They are 6. Man United is 6 points in the lead on plus 15. Obviously, Liverpool are quite close, 6 points behind on plus 12. So, yeah, interesting. They could close the gap. I don't think Liverpool are going to slap so many home, and Man United, only slap 1 home. I can't see it, but I think it's pretty safe for Man United. Let's have it right into it.
Yeah, I think it's safe. I mean,
and Bushy, let me guess, Bushy's not going to eat humble pie on that one. Be calm and cool about that one. He's obviously going to shout from the hilltops that again. Look at me, Mr. Big Eye out. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Yeah, we all did laugh.
Video coming, lads. Yeah, here we go. You all laughed. Yeah, and we'll still laugh, mate. Don't worry when you get knocked out in the first round of the Champions League. Need Villa 5th is not, and a win Europa for 6th to get an extra spot for Champions League. We are going to talk about that very shortly, Bob Dude. I've got a massive long spew and different scenarios that we're going to look at to actually go through that and work out where everybody needs to be. But yes, we know that Brighton and Brentford would be both happy if Aston Villa finished 5th. Ben Woodcock, who is winning the Champions League final, Arsenal, PSG? PSG all day for me. What do you reckon, Birchie?
Yeah, definitely PSG. I just can't see them losing at the moment. PSG, they've failed a few times. They've got to get over the edge at some point. They've got to get past the final hurdle. So surely it'll be this year. Surely,
yeah, absolutely, mate. I think PSG are all over that. All over that. Another question coming in from John: who gets the Man United job? Well, it has been in the news today that one of the chief execs at Manchester United are backing Carrick and saying that Carrick is the man and Carrick will be the man. It will be interesting to hear from King Bush on this one. Obviously, being our avid Man United fan, sitting there talking about Man United. Who does Bushy want? Because we know that he does not want Carrick. Who do you want, Bushy? That's the million-dollar question. Who would you want? He is coming in with a few comments, but I'd love to know, mate, who is who would you want for that United job?
Well, he claims they're winning fuck all again next season.
Looking through some of the comments, Bob Dude, sorry, jumping ahead. I'll just listen. No, not at all, Bob Dude. It's absolutely fine. Just want to, for all the people that are getting really confused about Europe, you're going to get even more confused very, very shortly with a load of spew coming from me. King Bush again. Brighton in Europe would be a joke. 2 fans going over to Barca, surely not. Here's Bushy again, trying to get the Seagulls to buy. It's not going to happen, mate. Carrick, which is a joke. Gordon gone to Munich. Has he? Ooh. That's official. John, can you enlighten us on that one? That would be good to know. That's us winning fuck all again. Only one man. PSG manager for me. Okay. Bushy would like the PSG. Bushy, let's face it, though, is he going to jump based on the chances of winning Champions League? And if he wins Champions League, he's not really going to be interested in a poor man's PSG, is he? In the likes of Man United.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I know they've got up to 3rd, and that obviously no. Other than Bushy, not one of us thought that would happen. Where they were going to start of this season, they got up there, but I still don't think everything behind closed doors is all up to scratch now. So would a new manager step into that? Someone like PSG manager, just to know it's not all tickety-boo behind the scenes down there. That's the problem.
Yeah, I suppose. Tom Brown saying yes, he is. Yes, he has or is, meaning Gordon going to Munich. So yeah, it sounds like that's a done deal there. Yes, silly sausage. Man U are a different knock. And he's saying, yeah, he comes. He says he comes. I've been called many things in my time, but a silly sausage is not one of them, Bushy. That's quite tame for you, Bushy, by the way. What's going off, mate? Have you got company and you're not allowed to swear or something? John saying they have held talks, personal agreement met, however, valuation miles apart. Yeah, let's face it, Newcastle need the money, so hold that for as much as you can.
The thing is, what is actually evaluated this? What would you evaluate?
Goal.
Goal.
Yeah, first goal of the evening, and it comes for Stockport County. Attack down the left-hand side. I think it was Louis Barry actually who cut inside and just curled it into the far corner. Excellent goal, and that means that Stockport are now 2-0 up on over both legs, and looks like they're heading to Wembley. Wow,
that's a big lead already for Stockport County. 16 minutes in, and they get a goal. Yes, it went down to Barry as well after 14 minutes. So yeah, 2-1 to Stockport County on aggregate. Lovely.
Yeah, big lead to pull back now for Stevenage. See if they do it, but I can't see it now. I think Stockport's going to get that one.
Stockport's all over that one, aren't they? Another comment, Bayern hope to pay around 55 million, while the Magpies are holding out for at least 75 million. Gordon worth 75 million? Would you put him at that, Birchie?
No, not a chance. I put him at 75. I think 55's nice enough offer. Never mind 75.
Yeah.
Weird one. Well, John, what do you reckon? Is he worth 75 million, 55 million?
But Bushy doesn't think so. Gordon is shit. So, yeah. The silly sausage comment has gone and he's replaced it with the word shit. Well, here we go. Wouldn't get in the Rotherham team. No, he wouldn't because they're in League 2, mate. What's this? Send him for free. He's shite. John agrees he's shite, so let him go. Okay.
So,
that's Bayern Munich looking for him.
Weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, seeing as though we've done the top 3, I suppose you could take it away with how 4 to 9 could come into play because you have it all written down and you know where it goes.
I do. So, as we can see on the league table there, the reason why we put the top 12 is because mathematically, any of those top 12 could finish in Europe, essentially, this season. So I've written a load of spew down. Factually, I believe I'm correct. So I'm going to go through it. If we do get a goal while I'm away, Bez, feel free to shout goal, mate, and I'll stop mid-sentence of where I'm at. But there are still 9 teams who officially can qualify for Europe football next season. Obviously, the top 3 we know about, plus Aston Villa, Liverpool, Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Chelsea, Everton, Fulham, and Sunderland can all mathematically qualify for one of the European competitions next season if the results go their way, should I say, but there's plenty of caveats to that. So as things stand in the table, as we can see, teams in the Premier League who will qualify for the Champions League will obviously be the top 4. And then there's the 2 Europa spots and then the final conference spot. Okay. So the team who finishes the season in 6th place and the winner of the FA Cup will also qualify for the competition. There's also a spot available in the Conference League for the winners of the Carabao Cup, though Manchester City have already qualified for the top competition and therefore they have forfeited
goal
in the Conference League. We'll stop that there. Where's the goal at, Bez?
Yeah, it's Celtic. So Celtic are losing to Motherwell. Obviously, I've not got that game on, so I'm not sure what happened, but I can tell you Motherwell have scored against Celtic. Elliot Watt, the goal scorer after 17 minutes. So, I mean, I'm just watching the Hearts game and the fans have gone ballistic. So obviously, that's good for them. So, yeah, Motherwell 1, Celtic 0.
Thank you for that, Bez. Yes, can confirm that was a goal as well. So, where was I up to? Yeah, so their position in the tournament will go to the Premier League. Go to the Premier League team who finishes the highest and has not qualified for European football. So currently in 7th in the league. That's where we then sit with that table, as we can see. But there's a few more caveats. If Chelsea win the FA Cup, then the Blues will qualify for the Europa League, and they're currently 9th in the Premier League. However, if they finish 6th, then the 7th place would also qualify for the Europa League, while 8th place would qualify for the Conference League. Stick with me. Bear with me. If Man City win the FA Cup, something similar will happen. 6th and 7th will qualify for the Europa League, while the team who finishes in 8th will qualify for the Conference League. So again, giving us that extra spot down, knocking everything down. If Crystal Palace, who are obviously not in any of this lot, win the Conference League, they'd be guaranteed of a spot in the Europa League next season, in addition to all that. Okay? Then this is when things get really interesting. If Aston Villa win the Europa League and finish in 3rd or 4th, then the top 5 will go into the Champions League, while the club in 6th will go into the Europa League and 7th into the Conference League before the knock-on effect of that FA Cup winner. If Unai Emery's side finish in 5th and are crowned Europa League champions, then an extra Champions League spot would be passed on to 6th place, and the Premier League would sacrifice its Europa League spot for that position. If Villa then finish in 6th, the top 5 teams would qualify for Champions League, along with Villa for winning the Europa League, but the Premier League would give up its Europa League spot for league position in that scenario. In either of those last 2 scenarios, if Chelsea are crowned FA Cup winners but are left outside the qualification spot, they would take the 1 remaining Europa League spot. Hence the reason then 9 teams in Europe. If Man City win the FA Cup, then that Europa League qualifying spot will go to the club in 7th. The Premier League could then essentially have as many as 9 clubs competing in Europe next season, with 6 spots in the Champions League, 2 in the Europa League, and 1 in the Conference League. All sounds really, 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 dark and in-depth. But there is one other little tricky caveat to it. There's also a chance that Brighton or Brentford could want to lose on the final day of the season to guarantee themselves of Champions League football. Okay? God knows why you'd want to lose a game, but this is the scenario. So if the Bees' last game of the season, which it's against Liverpool, a win for the Reds could help them finish above Villa and make Emery's side finish in 5th. So basically, the Bees want Villa to finish in 5th because that will give them the spot. If Brighton, who is currently in 7th, take on Man United on the final day, and if obviously Michael Carrick's side see Liverpool and Villa close the gap before then the Seagulls would also benefit from United finishing above Villa. Okay? So that's where that caveat comes in, with obviously Brighton and Brentford fighting for that spot as well. Obviously Chelsea, they're in that mix. There is also Everton, Fulham and Sunderland, which I've not spoken about. If things were to go horribly wrong over the next 2 games, anything with those 2, with the whole Brighton-Brentford scenario, then Everton or Fulham could also, and Sunderland could also fit into those spots. The Europa League final, though, is obviously set to place next Wednesday. So obviously that's before the weekend of the end of the season. So essentially Champions League qualification picture will be a lot clearer before the final game of the season. But if Villa win it, it would be in Brentford and Brighton's best interest to ensure that Aston Villa finish 5th to open up that final Champions League spot, or that 6th Champions League spot. And if you understood that, I mean, I've written that down 5 times now, and I still my brain still does not compute. But that's simply me. Wow, all these comments have come in just as I've been reading that out. So, shall we go through some comments? Any more goals, Bez? No more goals. No more action.
No more goals. I mean, Hearts are, I have to say, Falkirk probably on top. It looks like Hearts are a little bit nervous. But if Hearts can just get a goal, then as it stands, they're champions because Celtic are losing. So,
Wow. Could be good. Could be interesting in the Scottish League at the minute. King Bush, be good for a shit team like Leeds or Forest, to be fair.
Well, he says that, but that team of his failed to beat Leeds this season, so it can't be that shit, can they?
Absolutely, and we've got them this weekend. Obviously, it was a draw at the City Ground. A thought draw by Man United, funnily enough. We were 2-1 up, so yeah, we went up twice in that game. So a thought draw for King Bush's side. Bottom 3, is it Toon? No, bottom 3 is not Toon, John. Just because I've said bottom 3 with Toon, chill out. Listen, if you're losing Anthony Gordon, mate, let's face it, who else have you got in your squad? Nobody. You need to start splashing the cash in the summer, mate, definitely. What they pay Everton for him.
Oh, for Gordon. You mean Gordon?
Oh, for Gordon. All right, okay. Goal Motherwell. We've got a goal for Motherwell. Apparently, we'll have a look at that in a minute. King Bush, I like this with Bez goal. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having Bez on the pitch shouting goal. It's we just hope we don't get a Chris Kamara incident. Red card, Jeff. Red card. Tom about 40, I think. Can't remember that have 20 sell on, so can see why 2 want more. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's probably why. Technically 2 can get Europe. It's highly unlikely, John. Highly unlikely. That's why. Mathematically, yes, but it's highly unlikely. We've gone with the top 12 based on likelihood, mathematically wise. Jesus, Phil, these are some presumptions, but we're well scheduled, well researched, mate. They are some presumptions, mate, but looking at the table as it currently is, that's kind of what I've gone with. Obviously, hope. I think a lot of hope is on obviously Aston Villa finishing 5th, Chelsea winning the FA Cup, which that could be the little caveat that doesn't fall right. But Villa finishing 5th could really help Brighton and Brentford out, and that's kind of why I've gone that route and gone down that path. Rachel Xabi Alonso reportedly holding out on the Chelsea job and waiting to see what happens to Slot at Liverpool. And maybe Rotherham. What you take Slot at Rotherham, would you, Rachel? Or is it Xabi Alonso you're holding out for? John saying Alanga, lol. We'd have Alanga back all day long. He's done sod all at Newcastle. He did well for us. And that's the end of the comments for now. Keep those comments coming in, guys. Any questions that you've got on my long spew? Any questions that you're not quite sure about in terms of the Europa League and who finishes where in the Champions League? Or Europa League or Conference League, stick those comments in as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of comments. Which explained to me twice now, and still it's no idea.
So basically, the bit that I was talking about Aston Villa winning the Europa League and finishing 5th, that's essentially what could open up. Obviously, and the FA Cup winner essentially finishing in the top 7, but obviously, that's the 9th position that could essentially open up based on that. And we'd have 6 in the Champions League, then 2 in the Europa League and 1 in the Conference League, giving us 9. But it depends on how it all goes. Depends on who wins, who doesn't win, and 2 more games left in the season after obviously the City game tonight.
Goal.
Where's the goal at?
Goal. It's the second for Stockport County. They're now 2-0 up, and that is probably tie over now. 3-0 up overall on aggregate. It looks like an own goal. A lad Stockport player has a shot. It looks like it's going wide. Hits the the Stevenage player, and diverts into the top corner. So that's probably it. I'm afraid, Stevenage fans. Stockport are going to Wembley. Stockport 2, Stevenage 0.
Wow, thank you for that, Bez. Stockport absolutely slapping them home. Half an hour in and 2-0 up. And it was, looks like it was Wootton, I think, that scored the goal on 28. It looked like it was.
He had the shot. But like I said, it will go down as an own goal. Like it's like a half volley, what's going wide, and it hits the Stevenage head. He tries to head it, and he ends up diverting into his own net. So it will go down as an own goal once the Juvis goal pal get their hands on it.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Thanks for that. John's asked, can I ask a non-Prem League question? Absolutely, John. You can ask any question tonight as long as it's not too personal. And no, you're not having my PIN number or my bank details unless you're going to put some money in. Tom saying, I'd get the Celtic game on now. Bears Stockport through now. All the excitement north of the border tonight. So Tom's advising we drop the Stockport game. No, we're going to keep on with that, aren't we, Bez? Because you never know. It's only half an hour in, and you never know what could happen. Send that question in, John. If anybody else has got any questions, send them in.
Well, yeah, for the 9 to qualify, it all comes down to 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
So all you're thinking is getting that 4th spot and 5th spot. Is it staying the way it is, or do you think Villa is going to leapfrog Liverpool and take it the 4th spot?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the table. So where are we at the minute? Obviously,
goal.
Another goal.
Goal. It's a massive goal. It's Hearts. Hearts have scored. Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. As it stands, they are champions. A cross into the box with a header, and it's just 1-0. I'm not sure on the goal scorer. I'll get it up in a minute. But yeah, a corner into the box, free header, and it's Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. I think it's Frankie Kent with the goal. Yeah, great header, great bullet header. And Hearts are currently champions.
Yeah, it was Kent. That's who it's gone down to at the minute. So Hearts currently champions based on that. Obviously, Scottish Premiership at the minute, 3 games happening tonight. Hearts versus Falkirk, which is currently 1-0 to Hearts. Motherwell Celtic, which is currently 1-0 to Motherwell, and Rangers Hibernian, and it's currently 1-0 to Hibernian on that one. And as we've already heard, in the League One promotion playoff semi-final, Stockport 2, Stevenage 0, Stockport winning 3-0 on aggregate and looking likely that they are going to Wembley. The only other game is Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. Early kick off the line there, stopping Crystal Palace from going 1-0 up. But no real action from the Etihad Stadium at the minute. John's question: what's everyone's thoughts on the drop of Leicester, Prem League to League One?
Goal.
£1 for a season ticket. Another goal from Bez.
Bushy's got it in the comments there. Obviously, I've got it on my iPad, so I'm a bit delayed. But Man City have scored. It's 1-0. To be fair, it's come against the run of play, actually, because obviously Man City have dominating the ball like they always do, but it's Palace who've had the first couple of chances, and Man City have not really broken them down. But they've scored now. It's Semenyo with the goal. It's a cross into the box. I'm just watching it now, watching a replay now. It's a back. So a back heel by, I think, Phil Foden, and Semenyo's through on goal, and he smashes it into the far left-hand corner. Man City 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Fabulous. Thank you from Bez. So obviously Manchester City 1-0 up already. Semenyo with the goal. Phil Foden with the assist. That's Phil Foden, who's, let's face it, probably going to come to Forest in the summer. So, yeah, get a few more of them. That's great. Sorry, John, your comment. Let's put it back on. What's everyone's thoughts on the drop of Leicester from the Prem to League One and charging $1,000 for a season ticket? So I've read an article today that Leicester City have temporarily, what this means is temporarily suspended all season ticket sales. So they've said that they've maxed out their season ticket sales. But I know for a fact that there's a lot of renewed season ticket holders that have not got their season tickets yet. So something's happening clearly at Leicester that's made them temporarily suspend that.
Well, if they're charging $1,000, if that is true, then it could have been to a backlash for that. Basically, kicking off about that. So if Tempe suspended that just for the refund, but you never know, do you? It could be a refund to partially refund people and then carry on afterwards. You never know.
I mean, Bez, I know you're watching the games. What's a season ticket at Rotherham?
Well, we've obviously got either, I can't remember if it's top or second, but we've got one of the highest in the division, and I sit in the main stand at Rotherham, which is the most expensive seat, and it's about 460 quid for me. So I don't know if you do it at your clubs, but we are able to pay monthly without paying any interest. So I pay, I think it's £46 a month, but it's for 10 months, so you get 2 months where you pay nothing. So yeah, it's around 460 quid, and that's the most expensive ticket at Rotherham.
That's probably why they're all kicking off at Leicester City then.
Goal as well. Hearts again. Hearts have made it 2-0, so it's Hearts 2, Falkirk 0. Again, it was, I think Falkirk they've got the ball in their own half and they've passed it around, and the Hearts player kind of closes him down, takes the ball off him and scores. And they've got like I'm watching the kind of action now, and they've got the camera on a fan who's literally crying because obviously Hearts look like they are going to win the league. It's a ball, bit scrappy. It falls to the Hearts player in midfield who is just inside the box. He shoots, he takes a deflection and like loops over the goalkeeper. 2-0.
So I think it was Devlin that got the goal there.
Yeah, it looks like Devlin, yeah. Keeper would have saved it, but like the Falkirk defender kind of dives in and it hits him and lifts over the goalkeeper.
Wow. So there we go. Hearts 2, Falkirk 0 in Scottish League. Lovely.
Well, that's good for them, that I know, because we're playing Celtic next game. If they can wrap it up today, job done, innit? Saves them having to put that place at risk against Celtic next week.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. A bit like Forest and Leeds, job done. We don't need to worry about relegation or anything like that.
No. Can't find a relaxer rest at season.
That's the one, mate. That's the one. Good. Can't stand Celtic, says Bushy. Winding up the Scottish fans there. Gold City, we're a little bit behind on comments here. It's not a cheeky back heel from Foden. It's not a cheeky back heel from Foden, apparently. We can't even buy it. Yeah. It was. Bez says it was, so shut up, Bush. John Sullivan, we can't even buy a season ticket. It's a mess at Rotherham. Ray Chuff with a comment. What's your guys' thoughts on Spygate? And if found guilty by the commission, then what kind of punishment should Southampton incur? I've heard they could lose their playoff place. We were talking about this a little bit, weren't we, Bertie, before we came on the live? Just kind of, What's your thoughts on it, Birch?
Well, I said I want this all over everything to be talking about it, because when Leeds did it a few seasons, 7 or 8 years ago with Bielsa, it was everywhere, and it took them 4 or 5 months to get over it. And that's when they bung in the actual rule, like you can't physically spy. Back then it wasn't obviously an official rule. That's why we got fined. So now it's an official rule, surely. It says in the official rule it's a point deduction, or I think it's point or fine, isn't it? Yeah. But with the game it was in, ours was a game back in January, which means nothing, realistically. Theirs was an important game. So surely there needs to be serious consequences for Southampton, if that is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's football at the end of the day. And if you've got to send somebody to go and spy on somebody and their training techniques and what they're going to do and how they're going to play in the next game, then I think the biggest problem is within your own club. I feel as though...
Can I come in on this, Phil? Can I just go on this? It's related here, this actually, to Luke, to be honest. So I remember, obviously, Luke's team did something similar a few years ago. And when he was questioned about it, Bielsa, he said it was something that happens all over Europe and South America, and it's just standard practice. So that's why he did it, because he thought it was just the normalization. It was normal. So I wonder if it does happen in Europe, and maybe because again the Southampton manager is a foreigner, so maybe he just thought it was something that we all do, like Bielsa said. Because he said, Luke, Bielsa did come out and say he thought it was normal, and that's what everyone did.
Yeah, he said he did it all the time. So they did that back. He's done that. I mean, it's become a rule since that, because there's no official rule at the time, was it? So it's become a rule since that they can't do it. Like I said, if a foreign manager's coming in, he's not going to know that. But the club should know that. So I don't know. I mean, going to Bush with an 18-year-old kid with an iPhone, so I don't know.
I was waiting to flash them up. Bush is very, very vocal tonight. I'm sensing there's going to be some TikToks coming live from King Bush over the next few days. We're getting towards the end of the season with massive stuff going off. Sounds like there's another goal in the City at the Etihad, Bez. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. Man City have scored again. I'll be honest, I wasn't watching. Obviously, I'm trying to watch 4 different games at the minute, so I did miss it. I'm not going to lie. I think it is Omar Marmoush with the goal. As I said, I'm not seeing it. So it is Man City 2, Crystal Palace 0.
Yes, it was.
Who needs Haaland when you've got Marmoush?
Absolutely. Who needs it?
Bushy
calling him Marmoset, which is beautiful. So yeah, Bushy, very vocal tonight. I think there's going to be a few TikToks based on this. He's saying it was a cheeky back heel. He misspelt it. Spying should be allowed. Be interesting one. This is Bushy. I think you need to do a bit of a TikTok or an X comment on this, and get the general views from people. You say spying should be allowed. Is that because you support shit teams and you need to get as many tips and tricks as you can before you play them games? Is that why? Goal.
So I was saying earlier that I've now got 4 games on. So on my PC, I'm watching Celtic, and as soon as I put Celtic on, they've equalised. Motherwell 1, Celtic 1. It's that Maeda. Celtic midfielder has kind of got the boys dribbling across the box. The Motherwell defender Sly tackles him, and it falls perfectly for Maeda, who smashes it across the goalkeeper into the far corner. Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
Fabulous. Thank you for that, Bez. This is great tonight. Loving these live scores as we're going through. Fantastic. So yeah, it'd be great to understand why, Bushy, that you think spying should be allowed.
I think he has actually justified why he thinks it, because he's put a comment a bit further down and looks, it's only like watching the games.
Yeah, but it's watching the games before the games have happened. Surely you're playing God there, are you? Are you predicting the future? I mean, I saw it made me chuckle. Obviously, there was the whole Spygate coming through and whatnot, and I think I follow a lot of the guys that go to the training at Forest, and there was a picture with Vitor Pereira was writing on the whiteboard on the training field, getting things organised and whatnot, and he realised there was a camera on him at the time, and he actually turned the whiteboard away just so that nobody's spying on his tactics. Because let's face it, we're going to batter Man United at the weekend at Old Trafford. So it'll be an interesting one. That definitely. Loads of comments I missed out. We're back with another goal. Bez, what's the goal now?
Yeah, Rangers have equalised. Look, I'm not watching it, but I've got it on flash scores in the background, and Rangers have equalised at home to Hibernian. It's a non-script game. I believe it was a penalty by Theo Asgard. So Rangers 1, Hibernian 1.
It's not showing as a penalty, but it possibly is. I've not seen it myself. It's not showing on my system as a penalty. It's just saying,
It's showing it on flash. It's showing on flash scores as a penalty. That's where I've got it from. So I assume that's correct. Yeah.
Popped up on mine. What a hit! So I'm assuming it's a long ranger.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. So currently 45 minutes in, it's Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 0, Hearts 2, Falkirk 0, Motherwell 1, Celtic 1, Rangers 1, Hibernian 1. And just for Bushy, in the Women's Super League, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0, 88 minutes in. That's in the Women's Super League, because we know how much Bushy loves women's football. And then there's the League One promotion playoff semi-final. Obviously, Stockport 2, Stevenage 0. And winning 3-0 on aggregate on that one. Comments are flying in tonight, Bertie. Comments are literally flying in. So, yes, apparently it was an 18-year-old kid with an iPhone. Stop the boats, says Bushy. Stop the boats. I think that was down to Bez's comment, foreigners. Yeah, stop the boats, stop the boats. 2-0 for City. Bushy shouting out there. I'd want them kicked out of the playoffs, to be honest. Okay, says Tom. That's about Southampton.
By the way, Phil, there's a chance that they are going to get kicked out. I don't know if you know. So, according to Sky, there is a chance that Southampton will get kicked out and Middlesbrough will go into the final.
See, my opinion on that, I think it should be replayed.
Yeah, but when are you going to replay it though? The final's in just over a week.
True.
It's almost like the whole Forest Crystal Palace scenario, isn't it? Almost somebody else's fault or someone's silly little mistake, or someone not reading an email. In this case, an 18-year-old kid with an iPhone, and now look, there could be consequences far bigger than a fine or far bigger than points deduction. It could actually be kicking you out, essentially.
Yeah.
John's saying, Bez asking for a pal. How's Doku doing? Not FPL related.
How's Doku doing? Doku, his bench warming skills have been quite good, to be fair, John.
Nice.
He's on the bench. That's my attempt at a joke, and he didn't go down very well, I don't think.
Is Cherky playing, Bez? Is Cherky playing?
Cherky, I did actually check the league. No, Cherky's on the bench as well. So you've got the attacking players who are playing are Foden, Rado Silva, Savinho, Semenya, and Marmouche. They're the attacking players.
Wow. Obviously gonna bench the other players, the big players for the upcoming last 2 games of the season. Probably, it would seem to clamp down on Arsenal trying to win. Let's say. Ben Wood, so happy for Hearts if they can get over the line. Absolutely. Great chuffed. Shouting out, my eldest needs Haaland as he triple captained him in the FPL. So did you, didn't you, Bertie?
I did.
Yeah. I can't say I triple captain Turkey, mate.
Well, he's got me half of the points in his first game, so you never know. Comes on as a sub, might get a goal. You never know, do you?
You never know. You never know at all, mate. Obviously, Tom, Shatton, Maeda. I'd let other teams watch my training session. That's what's it matter if you're a good team.
Well, that's sure.
You're not a good team, though, Bushy. So I don't get that one. He's made a comment that he knows I'm going to fire up on in a minute. You can watch the other teams all you want. If you're good enough, you win simple. Just like picking the best teams in the FPL, isn't it? 1-1 Rangers from John. This is the comment that's going to blow everybody out the water and every single person out the water. Here it goes. We all ready for this one? Greenwood for England.
Absolutely not.
I'll let you go with this one, Bertie. You're the host of the show. I'm taking over with all the comments. But before I lose my absolute brain on this one, what's your thoughts on Mason Greenwood being back in football?
Well, it's one of them situations. I mean, it wound me up from the start. When it first all happened, we know he did it. We've seen the videos. Whether she dropped charges because he got her pregnant or not, irrelevant. And anyone else if that was a normal person, the police would have carried on with them charges anyway. They carried on with them charges whether she wanted to or not. That's what they do. They step in and carry on with them. There's enough video evidence there. The guy is, well, he's an oxygen thief. That's what he is.
Yeah.
If I ever see that guy in England shirt again, then I will not watch England again because it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I can see Bush said they got married. It's irrelevant. I mean, abusers get married, It happens. He's still abusing that woman. Abused her, got her pregnant, and she had no choice but she was coercing to keep it, staying with him. And then all of a sudden she dropped the charges. Yeah, load of crap. He should never play in England shirt. He should never play in England again.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm probably going to get booted off for this comment, or something's probably going to backlash with me on this. But I'm going to bring it slightly down to religious belief roots here. What Mason Greenwood has done is no different to the way that you hear in the media about what Muslim men do to Muslim women. And the Muslim women, because it brings shame on the family and shame on their culture, they have to shut up or pull up. Mason Greenwood, as far as I'm concerned, is a piece of shit that should never wear a football shirt ever again. The only shirt he should be wearing is an orange one like they do in America, and he should be banged up in flipping Alcatraz. That man requires a wood chipper feet first. I don't care what the scenario is, whether she stayed with him, they got married, they had the baby, this, that, and the other. Abuse is abuse at the end of the day. It comes in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. And the way that man has done it under a public eye as well, being in the public domain, being in the public eye, and what these teams and these people are just going to forgive him and allow him to play for their football team. Are you absolutely mad? Are you absolutely mad? In the world of football, Mason Greenwood should never, ever step on a green pitch ever again, in my eyes.
In the thing with it all, Bush is defending him simply because he played for Man United. Simple as that. If it were a Leeds player, a Forest player, a Man City player, Liverpool player, he would have different views on that bloke. I mean, end of the day, Bush, what if that were your daughter? He done that too. Everyone knows what he did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, he was arrested, but she dropped the charges. So yes,
lots of coming back in from Bushy. Let's go through a few of the comments. Obviously, Greenwood for England. That's gonna stir a few pots. This is a football channel. It is a football channel indeed. Tom is drunk, surely. No, I think Tom's busy at work and dobbing in when he can. If that happens, football is done, you Smurfs.
I think that's about Southampton and getting kicked out.
Crap like Forest getting into Europe and embarrassing themselves. We're not embarrassed ourselves, mate. We've had 4 managers this season. That's embarrassing. Yeah. Going 8-0 under Ange Postecoglou. That's embarrassing. Getting to the semi-final of the Europa League and losing on the second leg because we didn't show up. That's not embarrassing. That's nice and simple. We weren't cut out for it. That's all it is. We'll come back next season. We'll do it. Yeah? Not embarrassing, mate. Your squad is embarrassing. Your football team is embarrassing. Your manager is embarrassing. Even your stadium's embarrassing, mate. Yeah? Earlier on in the season, they were saving tomato ketchup or something, weren't they? Sacking Doris instead of sacking one of the people with all the money. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Shouting bench. Bob, dude. Thing is, regardless if we get Europe next season or not, Ursula's done well to turn a 0 wins into 12 to getting us to where we are now after the loss to Palace. Thought we were relegated candidates. Yeah, I mean, you did have a bad run there, Bob, dude. Absolutely. And I think, getting those 12 wins has really, really, really helped you out as a team. And now, look, wow. You could be in European football next season. So absolutely, mate. I think hats off to what the Seagulls have done this season, ignoring what Bushy might say about it. More comments. Women's football is as bad as Scottish football. Bushy, I'm sure what Bush is doing tonight is seeing how many controversial comments he can put.
How many people can piss off in one go?
A 1 hour show. I bet he goes all quiet when we hand the reins back over to Bez for the second half of all the football games. Rachel, Bez, can you do it in Italian 90s? Go Lazio! Next time someone scores.
I will try and remember. Obviously, it's half time now. So what I do need is, obviously, we're doing this as kind of a trial anyway. But what we do need is some sort of like I push a button and it goes goal in this kind of on the podcast. That's what we need, rather than me shouting goal.
Yeah, I don't know whether we can do it on StreamYard. I know on another.
Oh, can't you?
Using, we can have it.
I could. Flash. To be fair though, yeah. So what I could do is obviously get it on my phone. I'm sure you can get a goal shout from somewhere on the internet, and then I can obviously just play it on my phone and unmute myself and do it that way. So I could do it that way, couldn't I? Again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through some of the things that you can have on. We could have a fast copy. There's all sorts you can have, but not one that shouts goal or anything like that. But I'm sure we could get something, like say, Bez, up on your phone or something. Bushy, he's not committed a crime. Yes, he has. Abuse is abuse. Like I said, it comes in all different fashions. It's a crime. Trust me. It's a joke. It's not a joke, mate. It's not a joke. Still together? Yeah, absolutely. Got married? Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't mean that she's not living in a coercive relationship with him. They play that in the bedroom. How do you know, mate? Do you got a camera in the bedroom or something? Out of context. Yeah, nonsense. He's not Muslim. I'm not saying he's not Muslim. I'm not saying that he's Muslim, Bushy. I'm just saying the way that he's acted, the way that he's being, it's very archaic, like how Muslim men treat Muslim women. And look at the Muslim women, they stay with their partner, bring shame on everybody, bring shame on people. We'll do a full show on this. I'll destroy you both. Of course you will, mate. You couldn't destroy.
I would not give my time and effort to talk about that bloke for a full show.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's lucky he's getting 5 minutes. Has he been convicted of a crime? Was he arrested?
Yes, he was arrested.
Yeah. My daughter wouldn't be with someone like him. Exactly.
That comment there, he just said he's done nothing wrong. He says, my daughter wouldn't be with someone like him. Why? What's he done?
Yeah.
Like him well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Got all this money. He's a footballer, mate. Wow. Think about it. Me and Bushy and LAJS discussed this a couple of months ago. Yeah, absolutely. So he's not got done for it. If they had enough evidence, they could. Mate, money does a lot of things, mate. Money does a lot of things. All he needs to do is say to her, listen, if you press charges, I'll cut you off completely and you won't get a penny. Yeah, and the way he's probably treated her and coerced her into things in her life, panicked her, worried her, all manner of things. Yeah, she's going to fall for it. She's going to go with it. Charges without her third, presumably is meaning Man United Champions League. It's getting boring now listening to Bushy. I'd be embarrassed to see Brighton in Europe. Mate, I'd be embarrassed to see, you should be more concentrating on Michael Carrick as a manager, mate. You're that embarrassed. No, these are genuine. Awesome stream tonight, boys. Thank you, Ben Woodcock. Lovely to have you watching and on. She should have been arrested for ruining his career and wasting police time, Greenwood, for England, and hope he comes back to United. That's all you're bothered about, isn't it? Your own fucking team.
There you go. So, if you're a Leeds player or an Arsenal player or a Liverpool player, you'd have a different opinion completely. We all know that.
You're boring us now, Bushy. You're boring us now. Port Vale FC live. Hey up, lads. Hope you're well. We are absolutely fantastic, mate. Hope you're well too. And thank you for putting a comment in tonight. Any questions, give us a shout. Bushy, I'm bored of that now. You are being silly. No, we're not being silly, mate. Trust me. If he did this in Scotland, charges are not able to be dropped. There we go. Obviously knows the law, obviously knows the system. So, yeah, no, with you completely, Tom. I think Bushy has been smoking a little bit of the old green tonight. Or I know he doesn't drink, but he's probably had a drink or something. Too many full fat cokes, maybe, Bushy. It's gone too red, mate.
Well, while Bushy has got us off the subject completely, so let's get to the last few places then. You've got 7 minimum, could be 7. Who gets that top 7 then? The last, obviously, Villa and Liverpool, top 5. So 6 and 7. What are we saying? Stay Bournemouth, Brighton?
No.
No?
I'm saying Brentford, Brighton.
Brentford, Brighton?
Yeah.
Bournemouth drop out completely?
Yeah. Because we've got them on the last game of the season. I think we'll beat them. We're at home. I just think we're going to beat them. Last game of the season, go out with a bit of a bang, bit of style. You've got to back your own team anyway. So whatever the comments come in, that's just how I believe. I think Forest have got every chance of beating Bournemouth at home at the end of the season. I think that could be crucial to them. I don't think Bournemouth are going to win their next 2 games, whereas I can see Brentford and Brighton both doing well in their next 2 games.
Yeah. So, Brighton, Brentford then. So we're saying Everton, Fulham, Sunderland, no chance of getting in.
I mean, Everton are doing okay at the minute. I'm just trying to get up some of the remaining games of the season. Let's just have a look if I can get some of the fixtures up. There we go. So what have we got later on? Obviously, it's Man United, Forest. Brentford have got Crystal Palace. Obviously, Crystal Palace in Europa League, Europa Conference League, in the final of that. I just think Brentford have probably got a little bit more over Palace there. Everton, Sunderland, that's going to be an interesting game because obviously they're two teams that are in that kind of bit of a battle there. But it is at Everton's ground. So I just think, I just think Everton might squeeze that. Obviously, it's Leeds Brighton, but it's a travelling Brighton team to Elland Road. Obviously, Leeds haven't got really anything to play for. Let's face it, you're up, you're safe. Do you just play for dignity? What are you doing it for? I just feel as though Brighton might push the boat out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've got no to play for now, but also a chance of stopping someone getting Europe. It's something to play for, it's still a bonus.
It is, but that's a bit nasty. If it was Man United, I kind of get it, but it's Brighton. let's give the boys a bit of a chance. I'm not saying keel over and die and let them do what they're doing, but I just feel as though possibly they've got a bit of a chance against you guys there.
Yeah, I think it's a time now to the players who've not had the proper game time, like your Nontos and your Perus, just let them start. Get 90 minutes, full 90 minutes. Give them a chance. See if we can take them into next season, or let you know where they're going to go next season, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously Bournemouth have got Man City at home. So obviously the way Man City are playing, it doesn't really matter. And Man City, that's going to be an interesting game because obviously Bournemouth are going to be fighting for the European spot, but Man City are going to be chomping at the bit to beat Arsenal. So again, I think Man City are probably going to win that. And then the final game is obviously Brighton versus Man United at the Amex Stadium. So Brighton are going to want to go out in style and fashionable there. But then obviously Bournemouth are at Forest. Brentford are away at Anfield. Interesting last games, some real big last games. Obviously, Man City, Aston Villa. That's that fight for fifth place with everybody wanting Aston Villa to finish in fifth. It could all change based on that game in itself, the Man City Villa game. If Villa close the gap a little bit and Brighton hold Man United to a draw, actually that brings Villa closer to Man United. Liverpool have got to hope for that win on that final game, and there's lots of things that could really swing either way, and I think majority of it is that last game of the season that could really, really open it up, and actually we might not end up with the 9 teams in Europe and only end up with the 8 or even the 7.
So basically, we're saying everybody else, only way Chelsea's getting in there is by winning that FA Cup. They ain't getting anywhere else.
No.
Yeah.
No, they're just not performing well, are they? I mean, you look at them; they've played 36, they won 13. They've not even won half of their games, and they're sat in 9th. How's that happening? Drew 10, lost 13 of their games. They've won the same amount as what they've lost this season, and they've still managed to get a plus 6 on the goal difference. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Chelsea's season in its entirety is just completely bizarre in my eyes. I don't know how they're at that position. You would expect them a lot further down, but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think Chelsea have got a chance. I think it's going to drop. I think Bournemouth are going to drop down, and Brentford will slide up 1, and Brighton will actually go into 6th, I think. And it will stay possibly with the 7 in Europe.
Yeah.
And it won't really then matter where Villa finish. It will still be then that in Europe. Obviously, even if Villa win the Europa League, they will go through to the Champions League, but then there'll only be Bournemouth and Brighton that actually get Europe, 1 in Europa and 1 in the Conference League. We'll sacrifice those spots based on Villa not finishing 5th. So yeah, I think it will. I think the outcome of it will actually be only 7 European games, and that's pretty much where it'll go.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with 7 as well. Man City will beat over Chelsea in FA Cup, but I think it's going to stay as it is. I don't think Bournemouth's going to stay 6th.
You think Bournemouth are going to stay 6th? You think?
I know you got obviously I know you're playing last game of the season, but you got to take in the fact Brentford winning their next 2 as well. To have that chance to jump above. I mean, a draw for Bournemouth, one of the last 2 should be enough to stay above, keep Brentford away. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with 6 and 7, same.
Okay. Be interesting to see come the end of the season. Might have to revisit this one, Birchie.
Yeah.
See who's right. A few more comments. Bushy's still talking about Mason Greenwood. Jesus Christ, give it a rest. Bushy thinks that 3Bs don't deserve to be in the Prem, but hey, the 3Bs are almost in Europe and deserve to be in the Prem. Absolutely, Bob, dude. I think every one of the 20 teams deserve to be in the Prem. You know, we have good seasons, we have bad seasons. Wolves have had a very, very bad season. Burnley haven't had much better of a season. And now it's the battle between Spurs and West Ham. Again, they deserve to all be in the Premier League this season. It's just they've had a bad season. But absolutely, I feel as though Bournemouth, Brighton and Brentford, the 3Bs have done really, really well this season to end up in that very fortunate position to be darting around the European games. And I agree, mate. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Dusty Miller's on tonight. Thank you, Dusty Miller, for commenting in, but we're not going to talk about Greenwood anymore. I'm with Bushy. Greenwood should be allowed to play for his country. He didn't get found guilty. So, yeah, lots of on the pros and the cons, on the good side, on the bad side, or on the for or against. But, yeah, I think that's another chat for another day. That could end up being a 2-hour special on that idiot. Frankly, I wouldn't want to give any more time to it, to be perfectly fair.
Yeah.
Are we going to hand the reins over to Bez for the remainder of the show, Birchie? What do you reckon?
Yeah, we've covered every possible outcome. Got the top 7. We can't see anyone else sneaking in. So, yeah, I think our job is done.
Absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for coming in with the comments tonight. Thanks to Bushy. Thanks to Tom. Thanks to Bob Dude. Thanks to Ben. Thanks to John. Dusty Miller. P. Rachel and Port Vale FC Life. Thank you very much all for your comments. If I've missed you out, I do sincerely apologise. But thank you so much for all your comments tonight. The show would not be complete without your comments. We're not going to end the stream here because there's still another 40-odd minutes, maybe 35-odd minutes of gameplay left. And we're going to hand the reins over for the remainder of the show for the wonderful Dave Bentley. His head about fallen off for the amount of time he's right, left, and up and down. But yeah, do you want to end it for us, Bertie, please?
Yeah, I said thanks for coming. Thanks for your help tonight, Phil. And thanks for being here in goal at Bez. Yeah, we'll hand it over to you. Enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers, guys. See you both later.
Yeah, see you later, mate.
Yeah. Right then, so you are left with myself. Let's try and shall we stick with that one, shall we? So, yeah, I'm currently watching 4 games at the minute. I've got Stockport v Stevenage on one TV. I've got Hearts v Falkirk on another TV. I have Man City on my iPad. They are playing Crystal Palace, and I've also got Motherwell Celtic on the Sky Go app on my PC. So for the next 45 minutes to an hour, I will continue watching these games, and you can continue to watch me. And anything you want to talk about, put it in the comments. What game are you watching? Obviously, there's a lot of choice. I think a few of the games are probably almost over in terms of, you can't really see Crystal Palace possibly coming back. You can't really see Stevenage coming back there 3-0 down. But the Celtic and the Hearts game still to play for. Celtic still at 1-1. Hearts are still at 2-0. As it stands, that doesn't mean that Hearts get the title because they are currently 3 points clear. They do have a bit of goal difference, but I think there's like 4 goals in it. So, or 5 goals maybe. So it would mean that Celtic would have to beat Hearts 3-0 or by 3 clear goals on Saturday. Because if you don't know, the game at the weekend, I'm not sure if it's Saturday or Sunday, but it is Celtic at home to Hearts. And I have to say, I pray. I mean, I want Hearts to do it myself. It'd be good to see a different team win the Scottish League for once. But I would also like it to go to the last game, because that'll be a cracking game. Winner takes all almost in a one-off game. We've had a lot of them actually, haven't we, recently over the years. I've got a few comments, so I'll start from here. So Tom Brown, well done to Luke and Phil. Yeah, those guys, brilliant. Another brilliant podcast talking about the Premier League and Europe, and a little bit of talk of Mason Greenwood. So yeah, thanks to those guys. King of the Patriots, get Bushy on streams, got a couple there. I would do, but I don't think he's available, King of the Patriots. I will message him to see if he will come on, but I'm pretty sure that he's not available, unfortunately. So I am going to be on my own, unfortunately. But like I said, I will message him now. Tom Brown, 12:30 Saturday, so that's the Celtic versus Hearts game. I'm assuming he's referring to. Again, Dusty wants Bushy on as well. A couple of comments from him. Yeah, as I said, I will try, but I'm pretty sure he is unfortunately not free. I mean, these what we're doing as well, it is like a little bit of a trial. One of the ideas we have in our kind of meetings, we do have the meetings at KB Terrace Talk to discuss what we can do going forward in terms of podcasts. And one of the ideas that we did have was like a Gillette Soccer Saturday kind of experience. And I guess this is a little bit like that. Obviously, I'm on my own at the minute. Ideally, you'd want a host, and then you'd want 3 or 4 other guys on who are all watching different games. At the minute, I'm obviously trying to watch 4 games at the same time, which is actually quite difficult. Obviously, I can see when a goal goes in, but I don't necessarily see how the goal goes in or who scored, who's got the assist, because I'm trying to watch, 4 games at once. So, yeah, if you guys like this idea, because it is unique, I don't really see anything out there at the minute where, a channel does do like a Let's Look Saturday. Now, the issue from our point of view is we've got a lot of guys who are on the podcast who do generally go to games on a Saturday. So I generally go to the Rotherham game. Tiny generally goes to the game. Pete does most of the games. I think Phil does a lot of games. Luke does a lot of games. So it'd be a case of finding enough people who aren't going to games to be able to do it on a Saturday, because Saturday is when you that's the ideal time to do it, with there being the most games. If it was a midweek and my team Rotherham weren't playing, then yeah, I could host one then, like I've done today. And yeah, I mean, Bush, he could probably host the one on a Saturday because he's sometimes available. So that could be the idea. But I just want to know what you guys think, really. Is this something you enjoy? Have you enjoyed me shouting out goal when a goal goes in, and then obviously I give an update on who scored and what's happened in the game, etc.? Is that something you've enjoyed? I mean, I will watch this back later on to see if it's worked or not, so we'll see. A couple of comments. Again, thanks for your comments. If you keep the comments coming, because obviously I'm on my own now, so the more comments that come in, the better for me. Oscar Jasinski, cool name that, Oscar. I really like that name, Oscar Jasinski. What's the thoughts on the manager situation, Bez? One thing I think we do know now is that it won't be Lee Clark who gets the job, because it does seem like Lee Clark is on his way to Hartlepool United, and it's probably a good club for Lee Clark, because he's obviously from that region. I think he was Newcastle born and bred, or Gateshead, or somewhere up north. So Hartlepool obviously is classed as in the north. So I do think in terms of location, it is actually a good club for him. Obviously, Hartlepool at the minute are underperforming. They are currently in the National League, and in my lifetime, they've always been a league club. So it's a good opportunity for Lee Clark to kind of get that club turned around. As there is a goal, I'll answer your question, Oscar, but we have a goal. Celtic have scored. So Celtic they are away at Motherwell and they have scored. I'm just watching a replay now. It's a great strike from the edge of the box. Absolutely brilliant. 25 yards out, a left foot strike. I'm assuming it's Benjamin Nygren. I'm just going to quickly check that now. It just looks like Nygren. It is. Obviously, I know my football, don't I? It is Nygren, and it is a wonderful strike, and it seems to take a dip, and yeah, it's unsavable. So, again, a goal for Celtic, which is brilliant for them, and it does, as I said, it does keep the title race alive, and we'll go to the final day. So, yeah, Oscar, back to your question. What's thoughts on manager? So, as I said, it won't be Lee Clark. I have to say, I as Rotherham fans, we are kind of in we're not really. There's no rumours flying around. I've not seen anyone with any suggestions or anything like that. So I really have no idea who the manager's going to be. I think it's the first time in my Rotherham history where a manager has been sacked, and normally there are rumours or there are like recommendations, or a journalist might, or a journalist or a media outlet or someone like Sky Sports, they'll do like a program on where they would say these are my recommendations. We've not even seen anything like that. Now, for me, I've always wanted this guy anyway, and I believe he's probably a strong favourite right now, to be honest with you, and that's Ryan Lowe. That's the sort of manager that I would like. Now, I've been wanting Ryan Lowe even before Lee Clark got the job temporarily, so that has not really changed for me. Now, what I would say is, and look, we're at the minute we're in kind of limbo into what's happening with the football club in terms of who the chairman's going to be. Is the club being took over? Is the club not being took over? Is there's going to be investment? Is not being investment? Is Steve McLaren coming in? Is he not coming in? There's a lot of kind of questions at the minute, and as we've kind of mentioned all along, Rotherham United have really been poor at kind of giving us the information. They've never been good at that. When it comes to injuries, they never kind of keep us updated on who's injured, how long they're injured for, are they available for this game, are they available for that game. So at the minute, we are in the dark. Now, even though I have suggested I want Ryan Lowe, because Steve McLaren's coming in, and because the potential that these investors or new owners could be quite ambitious, I don't know. Rotherham might appoint someone even higher up. Like I've always said that I've wanted Gary Rowett. I'd love Gary Rowett. Obviously, it's probably a little bit unrealistic at the minute with Rotherham being in League Two. I think it was unrealistic when Rotherham were in League One, to be honest with you. But it's even more unrealistic now they're in League Two. But we don't know, do we? These owners, that ambitious, that they do bring in someone like Gary Rowett. So, Oscar, I really don't know. I mean, what about yourself? Like, who would you like to see as manager? There's quite a big, wide gap at the minute of who can come in. So who would you like to see as manager? I will, a few more questions, a few more comments. Sorry, Johnny Talks. Yes, get Bush on, lads. Live the Greenwood debate. Yeah. I obviously chose not to get involved in the Greenwood debate. It's hard enough trying to watch 4 games as well as kind of putting my 2 pennies worth into the Greenwood debate. I'm not going to say anything actually at this stage. I have messaged Russia to see if he can come on. Are you able to join the live stream? As we've had requests. There we go. We'll see if he responds. He was actually in the chat earlier, so there's possibly might come in. But yeah, the Greenwood, it does look like Lee will kind of set something up. I don't know if he's going to release a video, like a short. I don't know if he will, just have a full-blown podcast regarding Greenwood. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Rachel, Rotherham League One playoff winner and highest scoring defender in British history, James Tavernier's leaving Rangers. Linked to side throughout the league and Newcastle. Where should he go? And James Tavernier, when we did our kind of our best Rotherham teams, we weren't allowed loan players, I think, if I remember correctly. James Tavernier is probably the best right back I've seen at Rotherham. I think I ended up choosing Ali Pickering, but that's because I couldn't have Tavernier. But Tavernier, to me, was Rotherham's best ever right back. Not only was he a good defender, but he obviously scored goals. I think he got something like 9-10 goals in that season. He scored penalties, he scored free kicks, etc. So, yeah, where should he go? I mean, he's obviously the wrong side of 30. He's like 34, I think. So he's actually quite old. So I don't know where I see him going. I don't think he'll go to Saudi personally. I think he'll end up back in England, and I'm going for like a lower Championship stroke high League One team. That's just my guess. I mean, to be fair to him, he does keep himself fit. Again, I think he scored a lot of goals. He scored a lot of goals this season, even though he's 34. I know he takes every penalty. But yeah, he has scored goals still this year. So, I take him over him. I really would, even though he's 34, 35. I still take it over him, but I just think it's a tad unrealistic. Johnny talks. Where does Bushy get all his info? Sorry, where does Bushy get all his info from? He's always spot on. So Johnny, he has a a contact inside the club who, I don't know where this contact works inside the club. I don't know if it's a member of the coaching staff, if it's to do with an admin staff, if it's in the restaurant. I don't really know. I just know that he has got a contact in the club, and this is why sometimes he might get something wrong, because the contact will say, this is what I've seen, or this is what I've been told, and then obviously it might change. The Ryan 1 situation, for example, Ryan 1 was going to sign for Rotherham United. That is a fact, and I don't know if he changed his mind or if Lincoln made a last-minute bid or late bid or whatever, but I just know that it did change. So Ryan 1, or Ryan One, I don't know how you pronounce it, he was due to sign for Rotherham, but he had a change of heart, or Lincoln came with a late bid, and therefore ended up going to Lincoln. Let's face it, if you had a choice of going to a Rotherham side who were getting relegated or going to a Lincoln side who were getting promoted, you'd go to Lincoln, wouldn't you? Let's face it. So yeah, that's where he gets the information from. I don't know who it is, like I said, but yeah, we hope that he continues to give us the information, because as I said about 10 minutes ago, the club aren't very good at kind of sharing information with the supporters. The communication on the club, for me, is the worst it's ever been, to be honest with you. Lewis, when do you expect the managers to come in, Bez? Well, again, look, as I just said, Lewis, we are a little bit in limbo. No rumours. There's no idea of who's going to come in. Now, Lee Clark, when he came in, that was a surprise, weren't it? Hanshaw got sacked in the morning, and then Lee Clark was appointed by, I think, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock later that afternoon, and that was a shock. Now, if Stuart isn't going to be the chairman, which at the minute it looks like he won't be, it does look like the club are going through a takeover. I'd imagine that once the takeover has kind of been completed and gone through, I think we'll get someone in pretty quickly. I'm hoping that the new owners, I'm hoping that even though they're still trying to tie up loose ends with the takeover, I'm hoping that they've got an idea who they want. I'm hoping that they've had potential interviews with managers already. So when they do officially take over the club, if they do, they have got someone already lined up. That's what I'm hoping for. If I was to guess, Lewis, what we're in halfway through May, give or take a couple of days, I would hope that we have a manager in place before the start of June. So that gives them 2 weeks to get the news in that the club's been taken over. Hopefully Stephen McLaren's coming by then, because I do expect Stephen McLaren actually to come in this week. That's the news I've heard. I think, we're on Wednesday now, 2 days left to go. I think you'll find that Steve McLaren is confirmed either tomorrow or Friday. Hopefully is anyway. That's what I think, Lewis. I'm hoping it will be in the next couple of weeks' time. Again, Lewis, who is it you want? I mean, again, as I mentioned earlier, because we've got no rumours, it could literally be anyone. It could be someone from the conference, from League Two. If they're that ambitious, it could be someone who we nabbed from League One. Another manager I like is the Bromley manager. 2 promotions in a row, Andy Woodman. I would try to appoint him. I think he would come to Rotherham, even though Bromley have kind of gone in the league above. So who would you like, Lewis? I'm intrigued. Johnny Talks has said Darren Ferguson. Wouldn't surprise me if Darren Ferguson was in the frame. He's not my first choice, but if it was Darren Ferguson, I'd be okay with that. Obviously, I don't like the fact that he's managed Doncaster or a rival. I'd rather try and stay away from any rival managers or ex-rival managers or any relation to Rotherham as well. But if Darren Ferguson did get the job, then I'd be okay with that. He's definitely not my first choice. He's probably not in my top 5 choices, to be honest with you. But if it was him, then I'd be okay with that, to be honest with you. Rotherham Gaming, Wayne Rooney. I wouldn't want Wayne Rooney at all. Obviously, he did okay at Derby. As I said, he did okay. He managed to keep them up that year when they got the points deduction. But apart from that, he's really struggled as a manager. So I wouldn't want Rooney. Now, the worry is that when you get new investors or a new kind of takeover, Wayne Rooney is the sort of guy where you'll think, I tell you what, that will get season ticket sales up, because let's face it, Wayne Rooney is probably England's greatest ever player, in my opinion. So that is a possibility, which concerns me. So yeah, I wouldn't want him because I just don't think he's the right man for the job. But it wouldn't surprise me if Rooney was in the fold, to be honest with you. Tom Brown, doing a great job there, Tom. Thank you very much. I'm trying to keep going. Johnny Talks, yes, next year he gets more right than wrong. Yeah, and look, this is the thing, and it does make me laugh. Like, he gets a lot of stick, does Lee, for his information. And it does make me laugh that Lee will give out information and you'll get, like you said, 7 out of 10 right, or even 9 out of 10 he'll get right. And, that one that he gets wrong, he'll have loads of people just come at him and say, ha, you were wrong. Well, look, what society do we live in when you're doing that? We're all Rotherham United fans. We all want to know what's happening at the club. And if you don't want to know what's happening at the club, then you can't be a real Rotherham United fan. Surely every Rotherham fan wants to know what's happening. Is the club being sold? Are they appointed a new manager now? Is Steve McLaren coming in? Who is going to be, what sort of kind of transfer recruitment are they going to do going forward? All these questions Rotherham fans should want to know, in my opinion. And the fact that Rotherham United's communication has been poor, and the club has actually kind of confirmed that they agree that they are poor at communication, because Phil Smith came in and admitted that he felt that the communication had been poor. He'd come in to kind of resolve that and try and get more communication out to the fans. But that's just not happened, has it, with Phil Smith? And, I've been disappointed with what Phil Smith kind of brought to the club, to be honest with you. And some of the comments he's made have been a little bit ridiculous, obviously, saying that he expected Rotherham to get in the top 10 when all the injuries are back. He didn't make himself look the best, to be fair, did he? Moving on, Tom Brown, wish I could be on. Yeah, Tom was originally going to be on, but I think he's had a work emergency, unfortunately, so he's not been able to make it. Johnny Talks, great show. Johnny, thank you. I appreciate that. Obviously, it's a lot harder doing one on your own. I am still watching all 4 games. There hasn't been a goal in the last 10 minutes or so. Hearts are still 2-0 up. Celtic are still 2-1 up, which means that it will go to the last game of the season, which is Saturday at 12:30. Celtic at home to Hearts. Manchester City are still leading by 2-0. and Stockport are still beating Stevenage 2-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate, and then Rangers are drawing 1-1 with Hibernian, which is not really, there's not really anything to play for in that game. I believe that Rangers can only finish third now, and I think Hibernian can only finish fourth, if I'm sure. A few European results. PSG are winning against Lens in France, which means they're going to wrap up another league title. And Barcelona are actually losing to Alaves, but it doesn't matter because they've already wrapped up the La Liga title by beating Real Madrid. Knock off Nigel, any ideas on manager yet? Or any ideas on manager yet? Or are we still waiting for Steve? Yeah, Nigel, I kind of want to talk this. I do think that we are waiting for McLaren. Again, as I kind of mentioned earlier, it does look like McLaren is really close, and I do think he'll come in the next couple of days. I'm hoping that he's got an idea of who he wants. When McLaren comes in, I really hope that within the week, 10 days, we have appointed a manager. That's just what I hope. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Again, knock off Nigel. Who's your choice? Who would you like to see coming as manager? I've given my choice. I like Ryan Lowe. If we're being ambitious, I'd love it to be Gary Rowett, although I think it's unrealistic. I'd also take Darrell Clark. I know he didn't do well. He did an okay job at Barnsley. Let's face it. Ever since Clark left Barnsley, I think they've kind of dropped down the league. So yeah, I'd take Darrell Clark. I know he struggled at Bristol Rovers, but maybe that was the case of you never go back to a club where you were successful. I'm not sure, but I'd take Darrell Clark. He's not my first choice, but I'd still take him. Johnny talks. Is it possible that you are worrying people at the club and local media? Which has gone viral on social media now. Yes, Johnny, a little bit, because again, I kind of. I've kind of want to mention that I think Rotherham are they're not great when it comes to communication, and part of that may be because they don't want to issue air their secrets. And normally, when a professional club or a business do that, it does normally mean they've got something to hide. And because Bush Lee is kind of getting this information and he's kind of sharing it out there on social media. It might concern the club that they have got some, let's face it, dirty secrets where they could get released. So, yes, I do think they are concerned, and I think that's probably part of the reason why the football club have blocked Lee on social media. It is a shame, really. I feel that this podcast, and the podcast is blocked as well because I have access to the Twitter account and I can't see it has been blocked. All we do on this podcast is come on and vent our opinions. And that's it. We don't go on to get views. We don't get on to get people, to raise debate or anything like that. We just come on and we just air our views. And I'd say that we're all refreshingly honest, to be honest. And I think that the club probably are a bit concerned about that. As I said, you're only concerned about that if you've got something to hide, and we don't know if they have, but it does seem like they potentially could have something to hide. Nothing's idle. Surely we need Warren back. Yeah, I mean, if Paul Warren came back, I think that'd be okay because obviously he's a serial promoter now. He's won 4 promotions, I think. Is it 5? In fact, 3 with Rotherham, 1 with Derby, 1 with MK Dons. I don't think he would come back at the minute. I think he's obviously at a club who are ambitious, and let's face it, in League 2 they had the biggest budget by 4, I believe, MK Dons, and now they're promoted to League 1. They're not going into League 1 to make up the numbers. They are going to try and get promoted again, I believe. So I don't see why Paul Ward would leave that club to come to Rotherham, to be honest with you. Also, new owners coming in, would they want to just employ an ex-Rotherham, if you like, legend? I don't think so. They'd want to make their own legend, to be honest with you, wouldn't they? I think they'd want their own manager in, own staff in, just so they can build their own legends. They wouldn't want to, just bring someone in who's already a legend of the club, and you can't make him more of a legend, if you like. So, yeah, I can't see Warren back anytime soon. To honest, maybe in the future you could do, but I just can't see it any time soon. Tom Brown, the new group will make a statement signing. Yeah, potentially. Again, it depends how ambitious they are. And again, we don't know, do we? This is what I mean. We don't really know much about the group. Generally speaking, the Swiss consultant, I don't even know if they've got any money, to be honest with you. I am hoping that they do come in and show a statement and sign a couple of big players, get someone like Dan Goring, get the fans wanting to come, wanting to get season tickets, because at the minute, season ticket sales are going to be an all-time low, and probably the lowest they've ever been at New York Stadium, because Rotherham's only spent one season in League Two whilst at New York Stadium, and obviously doing promotion, and because of that, their average crowds were quite high. I think it was like 7,500 to 8,000, which at League Two level, considering the average away attendance would have probably been 250, and that's pretty good. So it is interesting to see what does happen this year. Obviously, we've not been given the season ticket prices yet. Surely they've probably waited before they release them to release some good news, whether it be a takeover, whether it be a Steve McLaren appointment, whether it be a new manager, whether it be a new signing, I don't know. But yeah, I am hoping that the new owners do make some sort of statement, signing, whether it be a player or a manager or whoever. Johnny Talks, who would you say is the most knowledgeable member on KB? You can't include yourself. I think it's difficult. I do think, he does get a lot of stick, but I do think that Rush has got a lot of knowledge. Obviously, it's easy to have Premier League knowledge because everyone knows the Premier League. But me and Lee do the Championship and League One predictions, and he does seem to have knowledge in those leagues. And next season, we're going to have to do League Two with Rotherham being in League Two. So I'm interested to see how much knowledge he does have of League Two. So I do think that league does have a lot of knowledge. I think we obviously had the awards last week, and one of the nominations was for Tiny. And what I've kind of realised is I agree. I think Tiny, when it comes to Rotherham, I think Tiny's got a lot of knowledge himself. And I think when you go to games, that's where you get your knowledge from. When you go to games, you get to see opposition players, who's playing for what team, who's good in that team, and I think that's how you kind of build up your knowledge. And to myself, I've been going home and away, and I've done an average of probably 40-45 games a season, probably for the last 20 years. So yeah, I think Tiny, very similar. He obviously goes to every away game. And therefore, I think he's managed to build up knowledge. And look, he's only a young lad. He's Tiny, so I do think his knowledge will grow. But look, honestly, I think the whole team that we have here have quite a lot of different knowledge. I quite like Phil. I think Phil's got a lot of knowledge. Luke, who was on a minute ago. Luke and Phil, I think they've both got decent knowledge, especially of their own clubs and obviously the Premier League. So I don't want to say who I think the most knowledgeable is, but I do think a lot of the people in our team do have a lot of knowledge. And if you go and look at the awards, you'll see that there were votes for, if you like, the person with the most insight. So I'll let you go and watch that, Johnny. He was miles ahead on SM. I thought it was a joke. Now all mainstream reports it. And yeah, and Johnny, it is strange. I mean, I'm just as surprised as yourself when Lee reports something and you think, well, that doesn't seem right. Like, Steve McLaren is a massive kind of signing for Rotherham if he does get pulled off. So when Lee mentioned it 3 or 4 weeks ago, you're thinking there's no chance that'll happen. But 2-3 weeks later, you've got the local press in terms of the Rotherham Advertiser promoting it, and you've also got Match of the Day. So I, even though he has his source, I still don't know how he does it, to be honest with you. Why does Bush hate my team? I think it's more to do with he likes to wind up Phil. I think Bushy and Phil are quite close, and they're quite good mates, and they've been mates for a number of years. And I just think he likes to wind Phil up. I think it's just that, really. I actually quite like Forest myself. You know, when they were in the Championship, and obviously winning League One not too long ago. It was one of my favourite kind of away days, Notts Forest. Well, Notts County was as well. I really enjoyed going down to Nottingham. I mean, I'm hoping that Notts County don't go up so we can go to Notts County next year. But at the minute, it does look like they are going to get to Wembley because they've obviously got that 1-0 lead away at Chesterfield and with a home leg to come. So you've got to back Notts County, I'm afraid. Just to really, can Bushy do a meet and greet for fans to see him? Right, okay. Maybe, just it. I will let him know that I'll let him know that someone has requested that. He might do it. I mean, I think the worry for him is that he, there are a lot of people who don't like him as well. So it's not just a case of meet and greet. I'm just watching. It looks like they have. Motherwell have scored. I was just watching it. Motherwell have scored 84 minutes, and Motherwell have scored. And the same time, Man City have scored as well. Wow, a lot going off. We'll start with Motherwell. It's down Motherwell 2, Celtic 2. It was like a bit of a ball got played into the box. The lads had 2 free shots, block, and then it falls to the number 4, and it's a goal. It's 2-2. Motherwell have scored. He couldn't really miss. Now it doesn't mean that Hearts have won the league, as I said. It means that Celtic would have to win by 3 goals. So argue that Hearts have got one hand on the trophy, but I would say Celtic have to score in these last 6 minutes in order for them to have much of a chance of getting the league title. And also Man City have scored as well. It's a great through ball by Cherky. It looks like I'm not sure who scored the third. It's a good fall through by, it looks like Cherky, which it is. And it's Savinho who has got the goal. So, pretty straightforward for Man City. They're 3-0 up. I don't think they've played that well, to be honest with you, but they are 3-0 up. So, fair play. Knock off Nigel. New owners need to tend to get quality managers in. I hope you're right, Nigel. I do think there is something in that where new owners, because you like to, as kind of Tom said earlier, they do like to make a statement and get new owner and get like a statement owner in or a statement signing. So hopefully you are right, and hopefully they do get a good manager in. Justin Miller, I've seen advertised also what you and Radio Sheffield. So I don't know. They're not. I've not been blocked myself in terms of my personal social media account, but I do believe that Rotherham United, the Rotherham Advertiser, and BBC Radio Sheffield have all blocked KB Taste Talk and Lee's, I think, personal account, which again it's reported, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, he only gives his opinion, so it's not great, really. A little bit like North Korea, where you're not allowed to have an opinion, in a way. Just to really Rotherham Advertiser, moving on. Lee, great work, Bez. Lee's also nodded off. So, Lee, if you're still around, you are wanted to come on the podcast if you can join just for 10 minutes. We've only got about 10-15 minutes left of all these games. So, if you can join, then feel free. Greenwood for England, what's your views on this? I did say that I weren't going to discuss this. I'm not going to air it on here. I'm going to, if Lee, if you want to do a podcast with talking about Greenwood, then I will join you on that podcast. So I'm not going to air my views on that just yet. You'll have to wait for that podcast to come out. Rachel, Bushy will need security on the pipe mobile. He might need some security if we did a meet and greet. Pope Mobile. put the pipe move on that next best thing. Yeah, I think of a bit of a joke there. So yeah, thanks all for your comments. I really appreciate it. It's managed to keep it going as Hearts score a third. Absolute brilliant goal that by Smith. I think it's Smith, is it? Not sure. Spittle, sorry. Spittle. He should stop still so I could read the name on the back of his shirt. But he's curled the ball into the bottom corner. And that also means that Celtic would now need to win by 4 goals on Saturday. So, yeah, it's getting harder and harder for Celtic. I would say Celtic have to score. They've got, on my screen, they've got 2 minutes plus injury time. So Celtic have to score. Otherwise, Hearts are likely going to be the champions. I mean, we have seen it, Celtic can go all that attack. They've got nothing to lose on Saturday. They may get the 4-0 win. You don't know. So I would definitely say it's not over yet. As I said, Celtic do need to score here. I think the Stockport game, that's pretty much done. Still winning by 2-0 on the night. 3-0 on aggregate. Man City still lead by 3-0. Is that too little too late for Man City? Obviously, the decision on Sunday with regards to West Ham does look like it has really helped Arsenal. And to be fair, we didn't actually talk about it, or they didn't talk about it on today's podcast, which I was surprised at. And my view on it is, to me, it isn't a foul. I think it's very, very soft. If Arsenal's going to win the league on that, then it doesn't look great. But I guess Arsenal fans won't care. Why would you care? As long as you've won the league, you don't care how you've won it. I'm sure they'd say that there's been decisions gone against him over the course of the season at some point. I'm sure of it. But yeah, it's not the best way to win the league. And I for one, like I said, I thought it was very soft. Goalkeepers get protected way too much these days, and I just felt it was that. Yeah, he's got an arm on him. I agree, he's got an arm on him, but the goalkeeper used to be told, 30, 40 years ago to come out and take everyone out as they catch the ball. And now, they get touched and they go down, and it's a foul. So for me, it was very soft. We are now into injury time for Celtic. They've got 5 injury time minutes to score. They are putting pressure on them at the minute, Celtic. I have to say, they've not really looked like scoring at Celtic. And I do think they need the goal. I really do. As I said, it's not over. If the scores stay the same, Celtic draw 2-2, Hearts win 3-0. Hearts are 3 points clear. Celtic would need to win the game by 4 clear goals. Interestingly, Stockport Stevenage have said the game's over. There's 3 minutes injury time played, or 2 play, and we're already a minute into that, so that is nearly done. The Crystal Palace game into injury time there. 5 minutes to played for that. Just a quick check on Europe results. I love my European football myself. PSG still leading 1-0. Barcelona still losing 1-0. As I said, it doesn't really matter because Barcelona won the league on Sunday, I think, when they beat Real Madrid in the El Clasico. Did anyone in the chat watch El Clasico? I remember when Messi and Ronaldo were at their best. I used to love watching El Clasico. Really enjoyed it. It was literally, when that game was on, I'd almost planned my weekend around watching that game. I used to really enjoy watching El Clasico. It's not as good now that Ronaldo and Messi obviously have moved on from their respective clubs. Celtic, still watching the Celtic game. Motherwell are they're wasting time at the minute. I'm not really sure yet. It's like a free kick, is it? No, it's a throw. So Celtic have a throw-in deep in their own half. We've played 92 minutes of 95. Celtic do need a goal desperately. as the Stockport game is full time. So well done, Stockport County, on reaching the playoff final, where they will play one of Bolton or Bradford. And I think, if I remember correctly, Bolton are 1-0 up in that game, and Bradford are at home in the return leg, which I believe is tomorrow. So, yeah, another interesting game. Still feel free to get your comments in. I've still got a decent amount of people watching myself, watching this kind of live watch along, not just doing one game, but 4 games at a time. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I just, those guys who are in the comments, is this something that you like? Is this something you want us to do more of? Obviously, it's well known that a lot of YouTubers will watch a game and do a watch along. Callum Fowler, for example, is done a watch along for a lot of the playoff games. We've done something slightly different in the fact that I'm watching more than one game. I guess if you watch more than one game, you can't concentrate on that game as much. I get that. But I do find it's more exciting because there's a lot more going on. So your thoughts in the comments, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are in the comments. Is this something you want to see more of? It's something that I'm happy to do more of, and I'm sure some of the guys in the KB Taste Talk team, they're happy to do it as well. Only a minute left of the Motherwell Celtic game. It doesn't look very promising for Celtic. Like I said, they don't really look like scoring. Motherwell have played really well. And I mean, Celtic are trying to attack, but the ball at the minutes with their centre half. And yeah, it's just a stray ball forward. They've run out of ideas, Celtic, a little bit. But here we go. Half a chance here as Motherwell clear it out for a throw-in to Celtic. Is this going to be their last chance? It's a throw-in deep in Hearts, deep in the Hearts half. It's going to be a long throw by the looks of it, right in front of the travelling Celtic fans. It's going to be I'm not sure, is it a throw for Celtic? Got a couple of players down on the floor, clash of heads. So that will probably add to the drama of the Celtic Motherwell game. Hearts have got, that's it. Hearts full time. Hearts have won 3-0. So well played, Hearts. That's their job done. So all they need to do is hope that Motherwell can hang on here. I'm not sure. It looks like they are going to VAR here for a potential penalty to Celtic, which is interesting. Yeah, it does look like there's a potential VAR check for Celtic. He's just got his hand to his ear, the referee, listening on the VAR check. This would be controversial. It's a throw into the box. It looks like they've done up for the header, but the Motherwell arm, he's like led with his arm and he's caught a Celtic player in the side of the face. So, I don't know, potentially here, there could be a penalty. They're still talking to VAR, and I'll tell you what, it's just going to be a penalty. He's going to I'll tell you what, this is interesting. The referee has been called over to monitor. Wow, 96 minutes have been played. And I'm just looking at the Hearts kind of reaction. It looks like there's a penalty because the Hearts game is live and the Celtic game I've got is behind because I'm on Sky Go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change actually to Celtic on here quickly. Here we go, VAR check. It's a penalty. Incredible. It is a penalty to Celtic in the 96th minute. Wow. I'm going to have to get it on here. So Celtic have a penalty. We've played 97 minutes and oh my God, the most important penalty in Celtic's season history, arguably. I can't believe it. I mean, it didn't look like much of a challenge. It was just a long throw, and both players went up for it. But it looked like the Motherwell arm just kind of, his elbow kind of touched or his arm touched the side face of the Celtic player. I don't know if it's a penalty of it. Here we go. Celtic have a penalty. It's Kelechi Iheanacho. This is to save Celtic's season. He's obviously left foot. He's in front of the Celtic fans. Here we go. He steps up. Scores. Celtic have scored. Unbelievable. 98 minutes, I think it were, and Celtic have scored. And the fans have gone wild. They've jumped onto the pitch. It's Motherwell 2, Celtic 3. 99 minutes we've now played. That is incredible. Is that the turning point? Is that the turning point? If your Hearts, you're absolutely gutted if your Hearts. You've just won the game 3-0. You're a minute away from almost winning the league. If you don't like that, Celtic would have won 4-0. But Celtic have scored a last-minute penalty. And I have to say, it looks like a very dodgy penalty. I'll have to watch it back, but it looks like a very dodgy penalty. And Kelechi Iheanacho, fair play, cool as a cucumber, scores. And I believe, is that the last kick of the game? I don't know if that is full time. Just waiting for confirmation. I've just got a comment here for Rachel. So an interesting fact, no Juventus player scored a hat-trick since Ronaldo was at the club back in 2021. That is interesting, to be fair. So is it full time? Celtic have obviously winning 3-2. I'm just waiting confirmation on the full time whistle. It is. It's full time. Celtic. It was literally the last kick of the game. Celtic have done it, and the fans they're on the pitch. They're jumping around. Huge relief for Martin O'Neill. The big sigh there. But that's it. They've done it. They've done the job. It now goes down to the last game of the season, which is Celtic versus Hearts. 12:30 on Saturday. What a big game that'll be. Just a quick roundup then of today's results. Obviously, I've tried to cover as many games as possible. So, in your English Premier League, Manchester City keep the pressure on Arsenal by winning 3-0 at home to Crystal Palace. Goals from Anton Semenyo, Almar Marmouche and Savinho gave them a comfortable 3-0 victory. In the League One playoffs, second leg, Stockport County 2, Stevenage 0. Goals from Louis Barry and Carl Wotton, although I'm telling you now that Carl Wotton goal will go down as an own goal once the Juvis goal panel kind of get their hands on it. And it meant that the overall tie finished Stockport 3, Stevenage 0. In the Scottish Premier League, Hearts 3, Falkirk 0, Motherwell 2, Celtic 3. And they actually finished Rangers 1, Hibernian 2, interestingly. I'll not go for the goal scorers. All you need to know is that Celtic scored a last-minute penalty to keep their championship title hopes alive. Incredibly. I'm looking at league table now. There is 1 point in it. The goal difference is now irrelevant because on Saturday it is Celtic at home to Hearts. And I have to say, I think that Celtic are going to do it. I do feel sorry for Hearts. I mean, the Sky cameras have got the focus on the Celtic fans and they're going absolute ballistic. They know that how important that goal is. And I now believe that the momentum is probably with Celtic. Although Hearts have got a great win today, a 3-0 victory against Falkirk. So it's not over yet. Interesting game on Saturday. Right, I still got almost 100 viewers. So everybody who's watching, I really appreciate you watching. As I said, we tried to cover more than one game. Normally YouTubers will just do a watch along for one game, but we tried to do something a bit different, and we've done, the games of the evening. Obviously, I don't think if there was a full fixture, I don't think you'd be able to do that. But if there's ever 4 or 5 games in the evening, you probably can do that. So I'm interested to know what your guys' thoughts are. Have you enjoyed this with the watch along? Have you enjoyed the fact that it's more than one game as opposed to just one game? Do you want to see more of it going forward? So please get in touch and let us know. But I'm going to end the stream here. If you watch it back, the first half of the stream will be the Premier League podcast that we had earlier with Luke and with Phil. Obviously, I was kind of chipping when there were goals scored in the games that I was watching. So again, interested to know your thoughts on how that kind of works. The other option was that I did a watch along on a separate kind of channel to the Premier League. So I'm intrigued to know what you guys prefer. Would you prefer it as it was tonight, or would you have preferred my watch along to be separate? So let us know. And yeah, that's it from me. Interesting evening. Obviously, the highlights are Celtic with the last-minute winner, which keeps their title hopes alive. Manchester City keep the pressure on Arsenal, and Stockport County head to Wembley for, I believe, the second time in a few years. So good luck to them. They will meet either Bradford or Bolton, who play their second playoff game tomorrow. Cheers, everyone, for watching. As I said, 100 viewers, which for me on my own is excellent. So I really appreciate you guys. And as I said, it's something we might look to do in the remaining games this season or something next year. Just let us know. Everyone, thank you. Up those Millers. And you will get some Rotherham podcast as soon as we get news on the takeover, new manager, Steve McLaren, whatever it might be. We will put a emergency podcast on, and we'll kind of work like that all the way through the summer. And then as soon as we're a week or 2 weeks out from the start of the season, we will then do our previews, and we will get back into the habit of doing our 2 Millers podcasts a week, which are still going to be Monday and Thursday, as well as the live after-match reaction on a Saturday. Hopefully we get a bit more wins next season. So again, I'll leave it there. Everyone for watching. I really appreciate you for watching. Thank you very much, and I will see you another day. Cheers.